Welcome to Permission to Thrive. I'm your host, Suzi Lula. As a spiritual therapist for over 20 years, I have the honor and privilege of ushering women and mothers just like you on a journey from simply surviving to powerfully thriving. I also have the honor of raising our son, Will, who is now a young adult, with my longtime partner, Jamie, so I'm right there on the journey with you. Consider this your personal sanctuary, your space to meet your heart, embrace your messy, and come home to your most authentic, extraordinary self. My hope is that you leave resourced and inspired because you are here to shine. Welcome to Permission to Thrive. Welcome everyone to Permission to Thrive. I want to start with such gratitude. My heart is filled with such deep appreciation for all of you. I've recorded now about 37 episodes, and I don't ever look at my analytics. But Spotify sent me an end of the year recap to all of my Permission to Thrive episodes. And we have listeners in over 42 countries. And in just 35 episodes, over 600 of you place it in your top 5 favorite podcasts. And over 280 of you place Permission to Thrive as your favorite podcast. So I'm thrilled, I'm touched, I'm grateful. These percentages put us as one of the fastest growing podcasts out there. So thank you. I'm so deeply grateful. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Most of all, thank you for sharing this with those that you know. And thank you for being faithful and loyal and coming back and listening again and again and again. And my deep desire and intention this year is to provide you with so much wisdom, so many processes, so much transformation that literally 2024 is your year to soar. 2024 is your year for more, that you are literally thriving, flourishing, blossoming like you have never flourished before. So I gave a free gift, my free soul care masterclass. The link is still in the show notes. If you weren't able to make it live, you can still receive the replay where I took you all through a process to clear 2023 and to become still and aware and catapult you into what is calling you to ensure that you do thrive in 2024. So that link is still in the show notes if you are interested in diving into a deeper transformation this year. My soul care coaching certification program starts tomorrow, January 25th. That link is also in the show notes. If you've been on the fence, if you've been thinking about it, if you want to know more, please go to the link, look through the information, join us. The community is such a transformational, supportive, safe group. And it is a 5-month deep dive transformational journey, the likes of which you have never taken before. And what I promise you is that you will be a different individual and connected to lifelong friends, coaches, therapists, moms, parents, and friends for the rest of your life. So join us. Now, I hope that you have been listening to this month's episodes on worthiness and on intention setting. Today, I'm going to show you that you are here to soar in 2024. I use the acronym MORE in the last couple of episodes. And today I'm going to use the acronym SOAR. I don't usually do this often. If you've listened to me over time, I don't often do it, but MORE came to me and now SOAR is coming to me because I have such an intention for you that you soar in 2024. So the idea of soaring, think of an eagle. An eagle, when it soars, it's so majestic. It's so free. It's so unencumbered. It's so light and its wingspan is so huge. Just think of the majesty and the freedom and the liberation of an eagle taking off, flying in the sky. Think of yourself standing at the top of a mountain. When you are standing at the top of a mountain, you are not restricted and you are not constricted by any walls, by any limitation, by any ceiling. If you think of yourself right now standing at the top of a mountain, the sky is literally your limit, and the sky is limitless. There is no limit to your potential. There is no limit to the potentiality that lies within you. And this is what, through this episode, I am seeking to assist you to connect with the infinite potentiality that indwells you right now, regardless of what your outer circumstances are. Internally within you, in the midst of whatever is going on in your outer life right now, you are literally limitless. There is literally within you no bounds, no constriction, no restriction. There is literally within you a boundless, infinite potential, and there are within you boundless, infinite possibilities. And this episode is all about assisting you to connect to that inward space, that inward consciousness that knows that yes, you are a human walking this earth, but you are actually a spiritual being walking this earth. Why is that so important? Your authentic nature is infinite. When you were just a child, you were still very connected with the part of you that understood that you are here in a limitless capacity, that your potential is limitless, that you are unbounded, that you are unprecedented. There has never been a you like you before. And so you are here to inhabit all that that means. And when you were young, when you were really, really young, you were still connected to that. And obviously, over time, with trauma, with life experiences, we become mired in our own beliefs. We become mired in our own constriction, and we disconnect from that wonder and awe and knowing of our own infinite potential. But I am reminding us today that your authentic nature knows that you are a spiritual being, that you are unbounded, that in the midst of limited outer physical situations, your outer physical world is limitless, but you, your authentic nature, you are a spiritual being with infinite potentiality and infinite possibilities, and you are here to soar. You are here to thrive. You are here to blossom and bloom. And that blossoming and blooming has nothing to do with your external situations. Your blossoming and blooming has everything to do with the inner environment and the inner atmosphere that you are able to create. I was just on a session with a client and we were talking about Viktor Frankl, and that Viktor Frankl was in the midst of an outer environment in a concentration camp, the likes of which you would not wish for your worst enemy. And yet, Viktor Frankl sat in something as absolutely unthinkable, unbearable as a concentration camp, but he sat with a consciousness that was connected to his inner peace, his inner potential, and therefore he was free in that situation. So I want you to hear that yes, you may be in the middle of whatever outer situations you are in, but our starting point, if you are here to soar in 2024, your starting place is to remember that you are a spiritual being walking this earth. And what I have come to know after working with thousands of clients and students is that we think we are here seeking a human experience, but we are actually here as spiritual beings seeking a spiritual experience while we're on earth. Now, what in the heck do I mean by that? A human experience is the experience that we have with the physical, the external physical form of our life. So my human experience on earth is how much money I'm making through my career, how many clients I have, how many children I have, what my physical body looks like. Am I married? Am I in a relationship? What school does my son go to? What does my husband do for work? What do I do for work? That is my relationship with my physical human self. It's all based in the physical, in the visible, in what I can see. And that is wonderful. That is great. That is good. But my spiritual experience that I'm actually seeking is what is the spiritual quality of the physical experiences that I am seeking. So, for instance, I have a son, he's in college. What is the spiritual experience that I'm seeking to have with him? It is one of deep intimacy. It is one of connection. It is one of joy and inspiration and creativity. Same with my husband. I happen to be married. I'm in a relationship. It isn't the relationship that I'm seeking. What are the spiritual qualities of the relationship that I'm seeking? Spiritual qualities are the invisible energies, the invisible essence of what is making up this relationship. I could be in a marriage and I could be experiencing conflict and distance and detachment. The spiritual invisible energies are what we want to seek, what we intend: joy, connection, intimacy, deep peace, inner fulfillment, prosperity, abundance, creativity, worthiness, enoughness, health, clarity, well-being, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health and well-being. All of that is invisible. When you think of your emotional health, your spiritual health, you can't see it. You feel it. You experience it in the invisible. And that invisible is what is feeding your visible life. So we start by connecting that we are spiritual beings seeking spiritual qualities, seeking spiritual experiences. So you have been taught to connect with, to relate to your physical world. I want to be in a relationship. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to gain X amount of finance. I want my son to go to X school. I want my daughter to be XYZ when she grows up. We're all taught to relate to our life through such a limited physical arena. And what I'm suggesting is that in order to truly soar like that eagle, to be unencumbered, not to be weighted down by anything of this world, you want to take the time to become reflective and contemplative about what are the spiritual qualities that you are seeking to envelop and embody this year. What are the spiritual qualities that are calling to you? Maybe this is your year to connect with profound peace like you have never known peace before. Maybe this is your year. You are ready to connect to those around you like you have never connected before. Maybe this is your year to connect inwardly and seek a relationship with yourself like you have never experienced before. Maybe this is your year. You want to connect with your child or your spouse or your career in a very meaningful, valuable way. And so when we get connected to that calling, that prompting, we begin to ask, what are the spiritual qualities that I want to experience in that form-based, visible relationship connection area of my life? So we see the visible, but we want to begin to ask ourselves, what is the invisible energy that I'm actually seeking? What is the invisible energy that I actually want to be connected to in this physical form? So just take a moment right now and begin to be still. And just first and foremost, Remind yourself, oh, I'm a spiritual being. I am unlimited. I am full of infinite potential. And let me not let one more day go by that I am disconnected from the infinite potential that I actually am. And now that I am seeing myself, identifying myself as a spiritual, infinite being, what are those particular qualities, that invisible energy that I am seeking to embody and envelop this year, this month, today, this week? You want to begin to identify yourself as a spiritual being, seeking spiritual experiences, seeking spiritual energy, seeking spiritual qualities. Now, what does that look like? As I said, the world is physical, the world is visible. What you see, I can see the state of my son's bedroom. I can see the state. Is it messy? Is it clean? I can see that physical, visible world. But what is the quality of the relationship I want to have with him when talking to him about the physical form of his room? What is the quality of relationship I'm seeking? That is the question you want to start asking yourself, because you can see what is visible in your physical world. But the power comes in asking yourself, what is the invisible spiritual energy? What is the invisible spiritual quality that I want to embody, envelop, embrace, and radiate? The qualities that represent the visible. So I'm always seeking connection. That is my highest spiritual invisible quality. So with all of you, for example, most of you I have never met in person. I've never seen, I've never given a physical hug to. I've never shared my physical love with, but I love you all. I adore you all. I'm grateful for you all. So I'm connecting with the spiritual qualities of deep connection, of deep intimacy, of a relationship where I am pouring forth everything from my heart, hoping that you are receiving it, hoping that you are practicing some of these nuggets and seeds. So we're interacting from a place of intimacy and connection and safety and trust and joy and inspiration and creativity. These are the invisible qualities that I'm seeking to hold in our relationship. Same with my son, Will. Connection is always my highest value. I want to feel connected to him. I want him to feel connected to me. Whether or not we agree on everything, whether or not he likes the way that I'm parenting, whether or not he agrees with it, whether or not I agree with all of his behaviors, whether or not he agrees with all of my choices, is less relevant to the knowing and the intention that even when we don't agree with each other's choices and behaviors and ideas, we can still stay intimately connected. So the spiritual quality, the invisible quality of connection, of intimacy, of peace, of joy, of inspiration, of creativity, of abundance. These are all qualities that are so important to me, where Will is concerned, Jamie is concerned, you guys are all concerned, my clients are concerned. The invisible qualities of safety. It's always so important to me to feel and create an environment and an atmosphere where the other individual feels safe in my arms, in my heart, in my spirit, in my consciousness. The qualities of enoughness, worthiness that we've been talking about through these past episodes. So now I want you to begin to ask, what are the invisible qualities that are important to you? Perhaps mental well-being, emotional well-being, perhaps abundance, prosperity, perhaps infinite choices, multiple choices where you're only seeing a few choices. You want infinite choices. So where your life is concerned, begin to ask yourself, what are the invisible qualities, the spiritual qualities that are important to you, where your relationships are concerned, where your career is concerned, where your family is concerned, where your relationship with yourself is concerned. And so that is the S in Soar. Your spiritual qualities is the S. And then the O is to open to those spiritual qualities. How open, how welcoming can you be to those spiritual qualities? How welcoming can I be to the connection that I seek with Will? How welcoming can I be to the abundance consciousness that I was talking about in the last episode? I had shared with you all in the last episode, I am seeking to inhabit a consciousness of abundance, regardless of what consciousness Jamie is in, or the world is in, or my outer life is in. And so how much can I open to the very qualities that I am calling in to my life? How open can you be to the very qualities that you are seeking in your life? How open can you be to the qualities that are seeking you, calling you, prompting you? And sometimes we recognize in one day, we have opened up to a quality and closed down to a quality 20 times in a day. And so our practice becomes opening to that quality, opening to that quality again and again and again and again in one single day. But the practicing of coming back and opening to the quality, opening to the quality is the very practice that puts you in such an intimate knowing, intimate relationship, and it allows that quality to become a way of life. So as I come back to the quality of connection, and then I disconnect from Will, and then I reconnect with Will, or I disconnect from Jamie and I reconnect with Jamie, or I disconnect from myself and I reconnect with myself, and I do that 20 times in one day, what I'm practicing is reconnection, 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 reconnection. And so by the end of a day, by the end of a week, by the end of a month, I am really immersing myself in the practice of connection. And then what happens? I create connection as a way of life. And I create connection with Will, with Jamie, with my clients, with my friends, with my career, with my finance, with my body. And connection becomes an overarching spiritual quality that starts off invisible and then becomes visible in the manifestation of creating it and opening to it over and over and over and over again. So now I want you thinking of your spiritual quality, and I want you asking yourself, am I willing to open to this quality, even if I open to it 20 times in a day, 50 times in a day, 50 times in a week? Because I want to practice having that openness become a way of life for me. Because then that spiritual quality becomes visible in my life. It changes my relationship with my child. It changes your relationship with your spouse. It changes your relationship with your clients, with your family of origin, with your mother-in-law, with your sister-in-law. It changes, it transforms, it affects. Besides being open to connection and intimacy as my highest values, I am also so open to the qualities of transformation and healing, and to living an unencumbered life, to living a free, light-filled, love-filled, compassion-filled life. So I'm open to my healing, I'm open to my transformation, and I'm willing to become 100% responsible for the things that I am open to, for the qualities that I am open to. So I make my healing, my transformation, my highest priority, my highest value. And when you begin to listen and hear the spiritual qualities that are important to you, and you begin to open to them, and then you take 100% responsibility for them. So if peace or joy or freedom, abundance, prosperity, if one of those, let's say, is your highest priority and value, can you become 100% responsible, 100% open, 100% willing to create that in your life? You become obedient to those qualities. You have them important and meaningful to you, and it is going to ask of you to be loyal to it. So I'm very loyal to my healing. I'm very loyal to transformation. I'm loyal to living a life that is unencumbered. I'm loyal to living a life that is connected and intimate and full of abundance and prosperity. I'm loyal to those qualities. I'm open to those qualities. I seek those qualities. I welcome those qualities. So I want you to begin to create an open, connected, rich relationship with the qualities that are important to you. So that's the O, the openness. And then the A is the attraction. You want to be so attracted to these qualities. Why is that so important? Because we don't attract to us what we want. We attract to us what we are. We attract to us our nervous system, our inner energy. Right now, exactly right where you are attracting to you from the state of your nervous system, from the state of your inner consciousness. So we want to become so attracted to these spiritual qualities. It's like when I first met Jamie, I was so attracted to certain things about him. When we first fall in love with someone, or we first become friends with someone, we become attracted to some of the invisible qualities that they are. I remember when Jamie and I first became friends, I had adopted my daughter CJ at the time. And I'll always remember that when he would call me, one of the first things he would always ask about is CJ. How is CJ? She was 14 at the time. She was a freshman high school. And he would always ask me, how is she doing in algebra? Does she want to go to a movie with us? He would always include her. And I was very attracted to this quality of generosity that he had and inclusion that he had. He had an understanding that she was my package. She came with me. And without speaking it overtly, he would always ask about her. And so that generosity, that openness, that inclusivity, it was very attractive to me. So these qualities that you've been working with during this episode, I want you to become very attracted to these qualities. If prosperity is a quality that is calling you this year, I want you to become so attracted to the quality of prosperity. I want you to become so attractive to the quality of joy and inspiration and creativity. And I want those qualities to be attracted to you, because you are not going to manifest and call to you what you want. You are going to call to you and attract to you what you are. So if you are attracted to the qualities of joy, I'm so attracted to the qualities of connection and intimacy. I'm attracted to it. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I'm in relationship with the quality. I'm not obsessed with anything in my physical world. I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not attracted to it. I'm actually very unattached to the physical, visible form of it all. I'm attracted to the invisible qualities because that's what I have dominion over. I don't have dominion over whether my son cleans his room or not. But I have absolute dominion over creating a connected relationship with him. I have zero dominion over whether my husband is messy in our home or not. I can ask, but I don't have dominion over that. But I do have dominion over the invisible spiritual qualities that I bring in to the relationship and that I'm attracted to. And so I'm interested. I'm attracted to intimacy and connection and abundance and prosperity and light and shininess and radiance and compassion and joy and inspiration and love. That I do have dominion over that. And so I want to be in a very attractive relationship with it. I'm attracted to those qualities, and you are attracted to certain qualities, and they may be very different than the qualities I'm attracted to, but you want to be true to the qualities that you are attracted to. I'm attracted to being true to myself. I'm attracted to following my intuition. I'm obsessed with connecting to my intuition and then following it. I love the qualities of courage and growth and expansion and evolution and transformation. And so those qualities are very attractive to me. And the more attracted I am to them, the more attractive they will be to me. And it becomes reciprocal. And then the R, so we have S, spirituality, spiritual qualities, O, openness, A, attraction. I'm so attracted to these qualities. And R, radiate. I want to radiate the very qualities that I'm seeking. I want to radiate the very spiritual qualities of connection and intimacy and safety and expansion and growth and healing. I want to radiate the qualities of abundance and joy and inspiration and creativity and prosperity and luxury and opulence. I want to radiate the qualities of light and love. I had a client just say to me, which is one of the highest compliments I could ever receive. She said, true story, that her son, who is 7, came to her and said, when I think about your teacher, Suzi, she always has such a big smile on her face. And when I think about her and I wonder why she always has such a big smile on her face, I think it's because her heart must be smiling all the time. And I just think, what a great compliment from a 7-year-old. What it's saying to me is that 7-year-old is looking beyond the physical smile on my face. He's looking beyond the physical on my face, and he feels the invisible energy that I'm radiating, and he feels it. And so that is such a high compliment and praise and acknowledgement to me, to feel that another individual, especially someone as innocent as a 7-year-old, would feel something so pure that is radiating from me. And so we are all experiencing what each one of us is radiating. And so we are taught to place so much focus on our physical life and the resolutions that we want and what we want to see in our physical life and our physical form and the visible physical. We are so taught to focus on the physical, but this client's son is such an example that we are born into a deep connection with the invisible. And he is still more connected with the invisible, and he has been less indoctrinated so far into the physical. He's not focused on the physical, because when he saw the physical, what it lit up within him is the invisible, a smiling heart. And so there is a place within you that is beyond what you've been taught to focus on the physical, and you want to radiate what that invisible quality is. So you want to radiate safety. You want to radiate that light. You want to radiate, you are safe in my heart. I am a safe space for you to land, or whatever the qualities that are important to you. Safety is very important to me. So I want to radiate that quality, that without even saying to you all out loud, I'm a safe space for you, I want you to feel it, because I want to be radiating that safety so that you would feel so safe to be so transparent and bring anything into our relationship. So you are connecting with what are the spiritual qualities that are important to you. How do you open to these qualities? How do they become so attractive to you? How do you allow them to be attractive to you, you to be attractive to them? And then how can you radiate these qualities everywhere that you go? And I want you to hear that our ability to radiate a quality, to radiate an energy, to embody a particular energy and radiate that energy is directly related to how we esteem ourselves, how we identify ourselves. So I'll give you another example. I was also just talking to a different client earlier today, and she is a coach, a therapist, and she runs big groups, and she does a lot of big, large group coachings. And she was sharing in her session today that she has chosen to complete her group coaching and not to do that anymore. And that when she made that choice for herself, it felt so good inside of her because she was being true to her own inner prompting. She was being true to her own intuition. She wasn't interested anymore in all the work that it takes and all the effort that it takes to keep inviting people into these groups. And she just wasn't interested in that aspect, people falling away, inviting new people in. She just isn't interested in that anymore. And so she chose, because she esteems herself, because she esteems the way that she invests her time and her energy in her life, she chose to complete that. She feels good about that because she knows that there is something more. She knows there is something greater. She knows there is something more expansive out there for her this year. So two different people could choose to complete a group, to end a group, right? One person, if they are only looking at the human relationship to the form level, the physical, visible level of what's happening, visibly, she is closing something down. She's going to have less people in a group. She's going to have no people in a group. Some people looking only at the physical, visible part of this would think it's not as good as if she kept it going. It's not as good, so they would keep it going. So they would keep efforting. They would keep investing in that energy because they would label the physical, it's better if the group keeps going. It's better to continue something than to end something. But the way that she esteems herself and the way that she is connected to her own self-worth and the way that she invests her time and her energy, she didn't feel, quote, bad at all. She felt great about completing because she feels great about esteeming the following of her intuition, esteeming that there is something greater, there is something more, there is more expansion out there for her. And so she feels good about following that, good about completing that, and she's more interested in the spiritual qualities of expansion and curiosity and what is next and what is out there for me. So we can never judge what something looks like in the physical world. I have had clients who I have walked through divorces. And if you look at a divorce simply from the human level, I was just talking to another client. You can tell that I do lots of sessions. I was talking to another client who is just contemplating, am I going to stay in this relationship? Might I separate from this relationship? If you look at that simply from the visible, physical, you may think it's better to stay with someone. I will have more time with my child than splitting up time with a child. But we were talking about the difference between the spiritual qualities of what is the soul looking for. The soul isn't going to get to the end of a life and look back and ask, how much time did I spend with someone? The soul is going to look back and ask, what was the quality of that relationship? And I was sharing with her, our son Will, he's now in college, but he went to an arts high school and he was obsessed and is still obsessed with filmmaking. And so during these 4 years of high school, when typically one would think he's still, quote, under our roof, spending a lot of time in our home, we saw him very little. The picture I had of how much time I would spend with him in high school looked very different than the amount of time I actually spent with him. I spent so much less time with him because he was always on a film set. And so I saw him, if you're looking just on the physical level, I saw him less than I would have thought I would have seen him. And if you measure only by the physical level of it, only by the visible, what I can see, you might think, oh, it wasn't as good as it would have been if you would have spent more time together. But I can tell you that my experience of him in high school and his experience of us, because we've talked about this many times, is that we felt so connected to him and we had the best 4 years. They were the best 4 years. Of course, there were challenges and struggles and all the things, but we experienced connection and we experienced intimacy. And I know lots of other parents who are spending lots of time with their children, but their children feel disconnected. Their children are in their room and there is detachment and disconnection and a lack of intimacy and a lack of connection. And so the amount of time or the physical measurement is a very different measurement than the measurement that a soul makes. The measurement that a soul makes are all around the invisible spiritual qualities. The soul will always measure through the invisible spiritual qualities. The soul will not measure from the human form, from the human visible, what we can see. The soul will always measure from the invisible. Why? Because the soul is invisible. And we are here, physical human beings, physical human bodies, to experience the soul energy, the spiritual energy, while we are walking this human walk. I'll give you one more example from a client session because they're just flowing to me right now. Had another client session the other day, and she was talking about how she went through a terrible fire over the holidays. Now, if you only would look at that through the physical eyes, the visible eyes of, oh my gosh, how terrible. And yes, of course, on the physical level, we wouldn't wish a fire upon anyone. But what she was sharing with me was from the soul level. It was an astounding experience because it brought their family so close together. It brought her husband so much more deeply plugged in and deeply connected than he has been. It brought her children to a level of intimacy and gratitude and appreciation for their family and for each other and for her. And if you could have heard the way that she was expressing such soul and such soulful gratitude, it was astounding. Why? Because she was measuring from the soul level, this spiritual, invisible energy that is the real measurement of our lifetime. When we look back upon our life, I guarantee you, you will not be measuring your life based on anything in this physical. You will not be measuring your life on what school you went to, what school your child went to, how big your bank account was, how small your thighs are. You will not be measuring your life by anything on this physical level, but you will be measuring your life. How much love did I experience in my relationships? How open was my heart? How unguarded, how undefended was I able to be? How much healing did I invest in my life? How much transformation did I experience in my life? And to that end, remember, tomorrow starts my soul care coaching certification. If you are remotely on the fence, if you are remotely interested in the field of spiritual psychology, I just can't encourage you enough. Go to the link in the show notes, because to invest in the invisible quality of your own transformation is the thing that is going to ensure that you thrive in your life. And when you get to the end of your life, and trust me when I tell you, because most of you probably have younger children than I do, but I can tell you, because my son is in college now, it goes by in the blink of an eye. And I know that's so cliche, and I know you hear that from everyone, but it does. And I am so deeply grateful that I have invested in my own transformation, because I didn't miss anything. I don't have regret. Sure, we had lots of challenges, and there are things that I would for sure do differently, and I've learned tremendously and immensely, but I don't have regret because I did invest in my transformation. I was talking to someone who did just enroll in the certification, and she was having a real challenge just giving herself financial permission to invest, because finance is such an individual thing. To some people, 5,000 is nothing. To some people, it's hefty. And so she was having a challenge giving herself permission to invest financially. And I can just say, I have also had that challenge of giving myself permission to invest in something financially. But what I said to her, and what I stand by, is that I have stretched financially to invest in my own transformation. And that is one financial investment that always comes back to you exponentially expanded, because the relationship that I have with my son, Will, is priceless. There is no price that I could possibly put on it. So every bit of financial stretch that I made has come back to me in the form, of course, financially. I haven't missed a penny of it. It comes back financially, but more importantly, it comes back in a priceless way in the transformation of the relationships. And I do have many single moms that take this course. And it is also sometimes challenging for a single mom, for any parent, to give ourselves permission to invest financially and to invest time-wise. And I understand that challenge. It is a challenge. We are here to stretch and grow. But I will tell you, and you can ask any single mom in my courses, any one of them, and there are many, and to the person, 100% of the single parents in my courses will tell you it is priceless, because it is allowing them to have an expanded, transformed relationship with their children, and thereby it becomes priceless. So if you are on the fence, if you are even remotely dabbling, please follow the link, email me, call me, DM me, connect with me, and I'll connect you with some of my coaches. You can get the replay, as I said, to the free masterclass. But to sum this up, to come full circle, you want to soar this year. You want to think of yourself as that eagle with those expansive wings, with that unencumbered ability to soar to that 30,000 foot, to stand at the top of that mountain and to have that 30,000 foot view of your life, and to feel that you are light and light-hearted and that you are radiating that light. So your practice is to go through this acronym of SOAR. S, connect with the spiritual, invisible qualities that you are seeking to inhabit and embody this year. Open yourself like never before to those qualities. Let those qualities be so attractive to you, and be so attracted to those qualities that you create such a rich, obsessive relationship with them that you ultimately radiate those qualities out to everyone that you come in contact with and everywhere that you go. So I hope that this episode has been informative. It's helping you to leave here feeling more nourished, more alive, more light-filled, more inspired than you were when you came. Please practice this all week. I will be back next week with another episode. I give such great thanks to you all for subscribing, for sharing these episodes with your friends, for being loyal listeners, and for putting me up there as one of the fastest growing podcasts out there. Who knew? So I call you my thrivers. Give yourself permission to thrive this week. I will see you next week. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Much love. Thank you so much for listening. If there was something in this conversation that spoke to you, we'd so appreciate it if you would take the time to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share this episode with women and mothers you know, because you are here to thrive. See you next time.